Grief changes you. It shakes the ground beneath your feet. It makes you feel like you'll never be the same again. You wake up, but the world feels different. Colors are dimmer. Silence is heavier. Even your own reflection feels unfamiliar. And in the middle of it all, you ask yourself, how do I carry this pain without losing myself to it? The weight of grief. Grief is not just sadness. It is disorientation. It is confusion. It is the sudden unraveling of the life you thought you knew. It doesn't only break your heart. It alters your sense of time. It distorts your sense of self. It turns the familiar into something foreign. You walk into rooms that once felt warm, but now they echo with absence. You hear a song that once brought joy, but now it feels like a knife twisting in your chest. Even laughter feels strange, like you're borrowing it, like it doesn't quite belong to you anymore. Grief doesn't just visit your emotions. It invades your body. Your chest feels heavy. Your stomach feels hollow. Your sleep is restless. Your energy is gone. Some days you can't eat. Other days you eat just to fill the silence. Your thoughts race at night, spinning stories of what could have been. And when you finally drift into sleep, dreams bring them back, only for reality to take them away again. The moment you open your eyes, grief is not linear. It doesn't follow rules. It doesn't come with a timeline. One moment, you feel steady. The next, a memory ambushes you. You're undone in seconds. That's the nature of grief. It shows up uninvited. Anywhere, anytime. In the middle of the grocery store. At a red light. In a room full of people where suddenly, you feel completely alone. And in those moments, you feel like you're not just grieving the person or the loss. You're grieving yourself too. The version of you that felt whole. The version of you that existed before the absence carved a hole in your life. This is why grief is so frightening. It makes you question your identity. Who am I without them? Who am I after this loss? Will I ever feel like myself again? And maybe the most painful thought of all, what if I don't want to let go? Because letting go feels like losing them all over again. That's the weight of grief. It's not just the pain of missing. It's the fear of becoming. Becoming someone you didn't ask to be. Becoming someone shaped by loss. People will tell you, time heals all wounds. But time doesn't heal by itself. Time simply passes. What heals is the way you live through it. What heals is the way you allow yourself to feel, to break, to rebuild, to keep breathing when it feels impossible. But in the beginning, it feels like survival, like you're carrying a weight, too heavy for one soul to bear. You try to go back to normal, but normal doesn't exist anymore. There is no going back. There is only learning how to live with this new reality. And that's where the danger lies. Because in trying to survive grief, many of us lose ourselves. We numb. We shut down. We disconnect. We build walls so high that not even our own emotions can reach us anymore. We think we're protecting ourselves, but really, we're disappearing. Grief whispers lies. It tells you, you'll never be whole again. You'll never laugh again. You'll never feel light again. And if you believe those whispers, you begin to shrink. You begin to fade. You begin to mistake survival for living. But here's the truth. Grief is not meant to erase you. It's meant to reshape you. The pain you carry is not proof of weakness. It's proof of love. Grief is love with nowhere to go. And love that powerful doesn't destroy you. It transforms you. Still, the transformation feels unbearable. You're not the same person you were before, but you're not yet the person you're becoming. You're caught in between. And in that in between, you feel lost. That's why grief feels like losing yourself. Not because you're gone, but because you're in the process of becoming someone new. When you are in the depths of grief, your mind tries to make sense of it. It wants answers, It wants reasons. It wants to tie the pain to something logical. But grief doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks the language of the heart. And the heart speaks in waves. One moment crashing, the next moment still. And just when you think you've found balance, another wave comes. But here's what you must remember. Every wave that knocks you down also teaches you how to rise again. You may not see it at first. You may not feel it right now. But with every breath you take, you are learning to carry the weight. Not by becoming smaller, not by disappearing, but by growing stronger, by making space within yourself for both the love and the loss. The weight of grief is real. It is heavy. It will change you, but you are not meant to lose yourself under it. You are meant to discover how deep you truly are. Grief doesn't strip away who you are. It reveals the layers of who you can be, the tenderness, the strength, the resilience you never knew you carried. And though you may not feel it yet, those parts of you are still here. They are waiting for the moment you stop fighting the weight and start learning how to carry it. Grief feels like losing yourself, but maybe, just maybe, it's the path to meeting yourself in ways you never imagined before. The illusion of moving on. When people see you grieving, they don't always know what to say, so they reach for the only words they've been taught. Time heals. You'll get over it. Life goes on. They mean well, but their words cut deep. Because grief isn't something you simply get over. It isn't a mountain you climb and then leave behind. It's not a chapter you close. It's a thread that weaves itself into the fabric of your life. Society teaches us that moving on is the goal, as if grief were a race, as if healing had a finish line, as if strength were measured by how quickly you stop crying, stop remembering, stop feeling. But that is the illusion. Moving on suggests leaving behind, forgetting, erasing. And that's not what grief asks of you, because love doesn't end. And where there is love, there will always be grief. The truth is, you don't move on. You move forward. There is a difference. Moving on says, that chapter is closed. It's over. Moving forward says, I carry this with me. It's part of me, but it doesn't stop me from living. Here's why this illusion is dangerous. When you believe you're supposed to move on, you start judging yourself for still hurting. You wake up months later, still aching, and you wonder, am I broken? Am I weak? Why am I not over this yet? But you are not weak. You are not broken. You are human. Grief doesn't leave on schedule. It doesn't pack its bags after 6 months. It doesn't expire after a year. It becomes part of you, like a scar. A scar doesn't vanish. It doesn't erase the wound, but it shows you healed in a way that still remembers. The pressure to move on pushes many people into silence. They smile on the outside while breaking on the inside. They pretend they're okay because they don't want to be a burden. They push down the pain, hoping no one will notice. But what you suppress doesn't disappear. It grows heavier. It hardens in your chest. It leaks into your thoughts. It whispers into your sleep. Grief demands to be felt. And if you don't allow yourself to feel it, it will find another way out. Think of it like a wound. If you ignore it, pretend it's not there, and never tend to it, the infection spreads. The same is true with grief. Pushing it away doesn't bring healing. It brings numbness. It brings disconnection. And disconnection is where you risk losing yourself completely. But what if you gave yourself permission not to move on, but simply to keep moving? Not to erase, but to embrace. Not to close the door, but to carry the memory. Imagine this. Instead of treating grief as an enemy to escape, you treat it as a teacher reminding you how deep your love ran, a teacher showing you how much capacity your heart has. to feel, to endure, to stretch. Moving forward is not forgetting. It is remembering in a new way. It is learning how to live with the absence without letting it consume you. It's building a life that honors what was lost, but doesn't stop you from embracing what remains. You will have days when the illusion of moving on feels tempting, days when you just want it all to end, when you wish you could snap your fingers and erase the pain. But remember this: the pain you feel is a reflection of the love you carry. And to erase the pain completely would mean erasing the love too. Do you really want that? Or do you want to learn how to live with both? Grief doesn't ask you to move on. Grief asks you to make room. Room for sorrow, room for memory, room for new beginnings. To live beside the loss. Because life doesn't stop. The world doesn't pause. And though that feels cruel, it is also your chance to rediscover that even in the shadow of loss, you can still grow. So no, you don't have to move on. You don't have to erase the past. You don't have to pretend it never happened. You only need to keep moving forward, step by step, moment by moment, carrying both the love and the loss in the same heart. That is not weakness. That is resilience. That is grace. Moving on is the illusion. Moving forward is the truth. Holding on without breaking down. Grief is a paradox. It makes you want to hold on and let go. At the same time, you cling to memories, to their voice, to their face, to the way it felt when life still made sense. Because letting go feels like betrayal. It feels like abandoning them. It feels like erasing what was once the most important part of your world. But holding on, without breaking down, requires something different. It requires balance. It requires choosing which pieces to carry and which pieces to release. The truth is, you will always hold on. You cannot erase love. You cannot undo connection. You cannot forget someone who left an imprint on your soul. But holding on does not mean drowning in sorrow. Holding on does not mean living only in the past. There is a way to remember with love without being crushed by the weight of loss. Think of it like this. Memories are like a fire. If you hold the flame in your bare hands, it burns you. It consumes you. It leaves scars. But if you learn to place that fire in the right space, a candle, a lantern, a hearth, it brings light. It warms you. It guides you forward. The same memory that destroys you in one form can sustain you in another. So how do you hold on without breaking down? First, by letting go of the guilt. Guilt whispers, if I laugh, I'm forgetting. If I smile, I'm moving on. If I keep living, I'm betraying. But guilt is not truth. Guilt is grief's shadow. The truth is this: your joy does not dishonor them. Your laughter does not erase them. Your healing does not betray them. The best way to honor a life is not by stopping your own. It's by carrying their memory into the life you continue to live. Second, by creating rituals of remembrance. Grief needs expression. It needs outlets. If you bottle it up, it will break you down. But if you give it form, it becomes something you can carry. Light a candle on special days. Visit a place they loved. Keep a journal of memories. Cook their favorite meal. Play their favorite song. These rituals give shape to grief. They give you a way to hold on without being consumed. Third, by making space for both sorrow and joy. Some days you will cry. Some days you will smile. Both are sacred. Both are healing. Grief is not about choosing one or the other. It is about allowing both to coexist. You can laugh at a memory one day and weep for the same memory the next. That is not weakness. That is being human. Fourth, by redefining your relationship with what was lost. death, or endings change the form of connection, but they do not erase it. Love doesn't disappear. It transforms. The conversations you once had out loud become whispers in your heart. The physical presence you once leaned on becomes an inner strength you carry. The person you once saw beside you becomes part of the person you are now. This shift is painful, but it also means you never truly lose them. They remain, not as they were, but as part of you. Fifth, by allowing yourself to be supported. Grief isolates. It makes you want to pull away. It convinces you no one understands. But holding grief alone is like trying to lift a boulder with bare hands. It crushes you. When you let others in, when you share stories, when you allow someone to sit beside you in silence, when you lean into the strength of community, the boulder doesn't vanish, but it becomes bearable. Support doesn't erase grief, but it reminds you that you don't have to carry it alone. And sixth, by remembering that grief is dynamic. What breaks you today may soften you tomorrow. What feels unbearable now may become the very memory that brings you comfort years from now. Grief evolves. It changes shape. It becomes lighter, not because the love fades, but because you learn how to carry it. Holding on without breaking down means giving yourself permission to live, to keep them with you, without chaining yourself to the pain. It means shifting from, I can't let go, or I'll forget, to, I can carry this love forward and still allow myself to heal. You don't stop missing them. You don't stop loving them, but you stop letting the absence define your existence. You begin to live with grief instead of living inside it. Grief will always knock on your door. It will always remind you of what you've lost. But if you've learned how to hold it, if you've given it shape, if you've turned the fire into light, then grief no longer breaks you down. It becomes part of your strength, part of your story, part of the love you carry into every step of your life. Holding on is not the problem. Holding on the wrong way is. Choose to hold in a way that honors them, but also honors you, because your life is still worth living, and they would want nothing less. Rebuilding identity in the shadow of loss. Loss doesn't just take the person you love. It takes the version of you that existed with them. The way you woke up in the morning, the way you celebrated milestones, the way you dreamed about tomorrow. All of it was shaped by their presence. And when they're gone, it's not only their absence you grieve, it's the absence of who you were with them. That's why grief feels so destabilizing. It's not just about losing someone. It's about losing yourself. The you who laughed beside them. The you who leaned on them. The you who built a future around them. That identity gets shattered, and you're left asking, who am I now without them? This is the hidden layer of grief. It's not just sadness. It's disorientation. It's standing in the wreckage of a life that no longer makes sense. And here's the truth. You cannot go back to who you were. That version of you is gone. But that doesn't mean you are gone. It means you are being asked to rebuild, to reshape, to rediscover yourself in the shadow of loss. Rebuilding identity is not about forgetting them. It's about finding out who you are because of them and beyond them. It's about carrying forward the parts they gave you while creating new parts that are uniquely yours. But how do you even begin to rebuild yourself when everything feels broken? It starts with allowing the disorientation. Most people fight it. They want to rush back to normal, to feel like themselves again. But grief doesn't work that way. You can't patch the old life back together. You can't force the old identity to return. You have to allow the collapse. You have to sit in the emptiness. You have to admit, I don't know who I am right now. It feels terrifying, but it's the first step toward becoming. Think of identity like a house. When loss hits, the foundation cracks, walls crumble, rooms collapse. You can't live in it anymore. You can't patch it with tape and paint. The only way forward is to rebuild. And yes, rebuilding takes time. It takes patience. It takes trial and error. But slowly, brick by brick, you create a new home for your soul. The second step in rebuilding identity is reclaiming what was always yours. Grief blurs everything. It makes you feel like you don't exist without them. But look closer. There were parts of you that existed before them, and there are parts of you that will continue to exist after. Your talents, your passions, your values, your voice. These threads are still there. They survived the storm, and they will help weave the fabric of who you are becoming. The third step is exploring what grief awakens in you. Loss reshapes perspective. It makes you see life differently. It strips away illusions. It forces you to ask deeper questions. What matters now? What no longer matters? What feels urgent? What feels hollow? These questions are not just part of grief. They are part of identity. Your answers to them become the blueprint for the new self you are building. The fourth step is allowing yourself to try. Grief makes you afraid of living. You don't want to fail. You don't want to forget. You don't want to dishonor their memory. So you freeze. You wait. You put your life on hold. But rebuilding requires movement. It requires risk. It requires experimenting with new experiences, new people, new dreams. You don't need to know the final shape yet. You just need to start laying bricks. The fifth step is integrating the loss into your identity. This may sound strange, but the truth is, loss changes you permanently. You will never be the same. And that's not a weakness. That's a transformation. The pain you carry becomes part of your wisdom. The love you lost becomes part of your compassion. The silence you feel becomes part of your depth. You are not rebuilding in spite of grief. You are rebuilding with grief as a cornerstone. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi. When a bowl breaks, instead of hiding the cracks, they repair it with gold. The broken places become the most beautiful part. That's what rebuilding identity after loss is. It's not about erasing the cracks. It's about filling them with meaning, with resilience, with love. Your identity will carry scars, but those scars can shine like gold. The sixth step is reclaiming authorship of your story. Grief feels like a thief. It takes chapters of your life. You thought you'd still be living. It ends the storyline too soon. But the book of your life is not finished. You are still the author. You still hold the pen. Yes, one chapter closed. Yes, it was ripped from your hands. But you get to decide what the next chapter holds. It doesn't mean erasing the past. It means writing forward, with the past as part of your foundation. And the final step, be patient with your becoming. Rebuilding identity is slow. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll collapse. That's okay. Identity is not rebuilt in one grand act. It's rebuilt in 1,000 small choices. Every morning you get up, every time you speak your truth, every step you take towards something new. Over time, you'll look back and realize you are not who you were. And though you carry the shadow of loss, you also carry the light of renewal. Rebuilding yourself in the shadow of loss is not about leaving them behind. It's about discovering who you can become because they were part of your life. They shaped you. They loved you. And even in their absence, they continue to guide you into the person you are becoming. Grief took something from you, but it also leaves you with this: the chance to rise, to rebuild, to reimagine yourself in a way that honors them and honors you. And that is the quiet miracle of survival. Choosing life while carrying grief. Grief doesn't end. It shifts. It softens. It reshapes itself into the background of your life. But it never fully disappears. And maybe that's what scares you. The thought that you'll carry this weight forever. That you'll never feel light again. That joy will always feel out of reach. But here's the truth. You don't have to choose between grief and life. You can carry both. You can feel sorrow and still laugh again. You can remember them and still dream new dreams. You can miss them and still move forward. This is not betrayal. This is survival. When you're grieving, you may feel guilty for smiling. You may feel wrong for having fun. You may feel like joy means you're leaving them behind. But joy doesn't erase love. Joy doesn't dishonor memory. Joy doesn't mean forgetting. Joy is proof that their impact lives on, because they shaped you into someone capable of love, capable of feeling deeply, capable of carrying pain and still choosing life. Choosing life while carrying grief doesn't mean you stop missing them. It means you let love fuel you, instead of letting pain consume you. It means you remember them with tenderness, not just with tears. It means when you laugh, you know they'd want that for you. It means when you chase a dream, you carry their spirit with you. It means when you love again, you do it with the depth they helped awaken in you. Grief is not the end of love. It's the continuation of love, in a different form. Love doesn't stop at death. It becomes memory. It becomes legacy. It becomes the thread that ties your heart to something eternal. And when you choose life, you're not moving on from them. You're moving forward with them. They live in your steps. They live in your choices. They live in the way you hold others close. Because now you know how fragile life really is. But here's the challenge. Choosing life is not one big decision. It's 1,000 small ones. Getting out of bed, calling a friend, trying something new, letting yourself feel joy without apology. Each choice says, I carry grief, but grief does not carry me. There will be days you stumble, days you fall back into the heaviness, days you wonder if you've made any progress at all. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. Grief doesn't move in straight lines. But every time you rise again, every time you refuse to give up, every time you let light in, you are choosing life. And that choice matters. It matters more than you know. One day, you will surprise yourself. You'll hear a song, and instead of breaking, you'll smile. You'll visit a place, and instead of drowning in sadness, you'll feel warmth. You'll tell a story about them, and instead of crying, you'll laugh. That's not forgetting. That's healing. That's grief and love. Finally learning to live side by side. Choosing life while carrying grief also means choosing yourself. Because you matter. Your story is still unfolding. Your life is still sacred. And even though loss has marked you, it has not ended you. You are still here, breathing, living, becoming. And if you are still here, then life is still offering you gifts. Moments of beauty, moments of connection, moments of joy. It doesn't cancel the pain, but it gives the pain a purpose. So what does it mean to live fully while carrying grief? It means honoring their memory by living the kind of life they would be proud to see you live. It means turning pain into compassion. It means turning absence into presence by showing up more deeply for the people still here. It means refusing to let loss steal the rest of your story. Grief is the price of love, and if love was worth it, then so is life. So carry them with you, but keep walking, keep building, keep choosing, because your life is still a gift, and every day you choose to live it, even with tears in your eyes, you honor both your own soul and the one you lost. Grief may always walk beside you, but so can joy, so can hope, so can love. You are not choosing one over the other. You are learning to carry them all. And that balance, that fragile, beautiful balance, is where true healing begins.